What's going on, guys? TKD123 back here again with a video, and today we're going to discuss another Lawbreakers guide here today. Now, of course, I started this with the beginning of the week with the Enforcer, and now we're going to cover another class here that, historically, in the beta, I wasn't really feeling, I didn't really like that much, but now after playing a ton of this chick here on one of the classes, I am definitely enjoying this class a lot, and, it's really veering near one of my favorite classes of all Lawbreakers. So here, we're going to go over the Vanguard. Now, what I really want to start off this guide with is that, this Vanguard, this class here, is definitely one of the most overlooked, I'd say, right? Because a lot of times, if you have a class that was in the beta or a class that was, kind of like towards the front of the, whole group where people don't really like notice her that much, a lot of people tend to think that, oh, okay, it's the first, character we have here has to be not that great of a character, right? We have that a lot. But here, I would encourage all of you guys to definitely try out Vanguard, definitely a good class. To start off with her main weapon, her bread and butter primary weapon, is called the Hydra Tricore Cannon. This is basically your Gatling gun. It's your everyday run-of-the-mill, super heavy machine gun, everything like that. It has a very good amount in the clip. I think it's 60 rounds, if I'm mistaken, but it's definitely enough to take out plenty of enemies. You will never find yourself needing, a little bit more ammo or a little bit more shots. Definitely does do the job that it needs to do, and definitely does it well and everything. And the reload, it's kind of long, but it's not incredibly long. It's not very crazy. It's probably, I would say, considered like a fast reload in Call of Duty with a machine gun, right? So, hey, being maybe around like 4 seconds, somewhere around there. And going on to her other weapon here. Now, this weapon is not really technically a weapon. It's more of just like, imagine Iron Man's pulse cannon in his hand. That's basically what she has here. It's called the Pulsar, and it comes from her hand. It basically uses all the jet fuel that you have currently, which we'll talk about again, more jet fuel later. But it takes all the jet fuel and then it makes it superheated energy and it blasts it from other people. And this is basically what I use this for. I use it mainly as a shotgun, what I'm saying? Like, it definitely does feel like a shotgun, definitely short range. You're definitely not going to hit people from long ranges or like that. That definitely is not going to happen. But if it's close range in your face, I feel like this is definitely, very good. Because a lot of times when you have the Hydra Tricore Cannon and you're firing shots at them from close range, there's a lot of times where you don't hit every shot, and you really come to a disadvantage when you have just that mainly in a close quarters combat fight. But when you have the Pulsar, definitely does level the playing field right there. Definitely does give you a nice edge in close quarters combat. Moving on to the abilities here, she has first meteor shells, which is going to be your E or R1 on PS4, right? And so basically what it is, it's called the M80R meteor shells, are a cluster of destructive grenades. After being thrown, they split apart and explode and rain death upon their victims. And just as described, that is exactly what it does. Now, it's not, I would say, the most effective thing in the world. I didn't find it that useful in a lot of cases. I found a lot of times where I would just waste it, where I would throw the grenades out, and while I was throwing them out, it's a very quick throw. It's not a big deal. But what happens is that it would do so little damage that they would be firing shots off of me even with that little time I was throwing the grenades. So definitely I feel it most definitely wasn't my favorite thing about this class, but overall, there were some times where it was useful, but it was very hit or miss. I would say that's kind of to wrap it up. Basically a hit or miss type of ability there. And then, there's an overwhelming theme here that every single class has their bread and butter. And this, of course, right here is their bread and butter, much like the Enforcer Sprint. This is called the Afterburners, and basically what it says is activating the Afterburners on the Vanguard's flight suit provides her with extreme speed and mobility until her fuel expires. So this essentially is your sprint, just like on the Enforcer. This is basically very much comparable to that. But I would say the Afterburners are a little bit better just because you go super fast in this, guys. Like, I think you go faster than the Enforcer Sprint. I'll be real here. But this is super useful because when you are in tight gunfights, or remember you get into a gunfight and there's like 3 more people that come up on you, you can easily get out of the situation, and it's super fast. It's very useful. I found it extremely useful, and that is why I call it the bread and butter of this class. Definitely 100% utilize this to every single bit you can here. And lastly here, we have the Vanguard super ability, which is called Starfall, a special attack that hurls the Vanguard towards the ground at supersonic speeds. The brutal impact damages enemies at a 0G field, envelops the impact area for a short duration. And guys, right here, this Starfall ability, just like the Afterburner, is definitely a useful thing for this class. 100%, you will be so successful if you guys know how to use this, know how to just overall use it with timing and everything, and it would definitely be into your favor. Now, like the Starfall is definitely a great way to get multi-kills in this game, because a lot of times when you're playing objective modes, which I will go into in the more tips and tricks version of this kind of video towards the end of it, but the Starfall, I was getting a ton of doubles, ton of triples, and you can see it here in the gameplay as well. I'm getting just a ton of kills off of just a Starfall, so definitely do feel that it is definitely a good thing. And also, even after the impact happens and you do your just first damage, the whole entire field turns into a 0G field, just like you have sometimes on the map. So it is a nice way also to kind of confuse a lot of people that didn't die already, because they're like, oh shit, like, why am I floating? Now, you know, they are floating because you caused it with the starfall. Going on into some tips and stuff like that, I would say, honestly, like, just be aware here that, you know, the Vanguard does not have a lot of health for the speed that it has, right? So, for example, there are, you know, just a lot of times where I was doing the afterburner and I was just rushing into a gunfight and I would just instantly get murked, you know what I'm saying? And that's just because, you know, I'm not taking into account my health, right? It's only 350, I think it is, or 250, I think it's 350, right? And so, you know, just in this game, you really do tend to die super quickly when you have multiple people that you are encountering. So definitely do feel that, you know, like, this Vanguard is super good as long as you know how to use it, know your abilities, and also know that, you know, for the most part, you really can't take on 3 people at a time. It's very rare. I did it a few times here, but that's just because I got lucky and I had a team behind me. But, you know, overall, I would say, you know, make sure to be wary that, you know, you aren't, you know, this tank that it kind of seems to be, right? Because you're carrying a big Gatling gun, you know what I'm saying? You have thrusters, like, you know, you kind of assume that you are this tank, right? But that is not the class you're playing here. You're playing somewhere in the middle between the Enforcer and, like, a heavy tank person I forgot the name of in this game, but we're gonna go on from that, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you are somewhere in the middle of that. You're just a more beefed up Enforcer is how I kind of played this whole thing, right? So just make sure to keep that in mind, that, you know, you are not a tank when you're playing the Vanguard. You are just a super fast, super good version of the Enforcer, I'd say. And also here, another tip I would say is that play the Vanguard, especially in objective modes. Like, I was playing Overcharge a ton with the Vanguard, and I was so successful, dog. Like whenever I needed the battery out of their base, I would just hit up my super starfall, and I would completely kill like 2-3 people, and then get the battery and go run to my other base. Like, it was super useful. I feel that the Vanguard definitely shines so well in modes where, you know, there is definitely a clear objective. 100% you will be successful. And that's all I got here for my time on this Vanguard guide. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share down below, and also let me know in the comments below what guide do you want me to make right now. Like, what characters are you more interested in right now? Like, which people in Lawbreakers you guys want me to go over, you know, in the guide, whatever, just somewhere like this. I'm very interested in what you guys want to say, what you guys want to hear, what you guys want to see primarily, and definitely want to try out some more people on Lawbreakers. So go hit me up in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and as always, I got you.